Never Hippa Lame Podcast.
And we back. I'm your host, Tristan Tarantino. As always, this is Never Hippa Lame Podcast, and I got in the building with me Abu, founder of LateBloomer brand. And what's up with you, bro? How you doing?
I'm good.
Everything good? Hey, man, I'm happy for you to come by and everything. So, honestly, before we get into everything, just a little snippet about what the brand is, what it does, and obviously what the overall goal of it is that you when you came up with it.
For sure. So, basically, LateBloomer brand, basically, I was sitting back thinking, like, you know, before you get into anything, you try to think, like, all right, like, what can I solve when I get into the space? You know what I'm saying? So, I think more purity and like self-enlightenment, right? Mm-hmm. So we live in an era where we grew up and certain people telling us where certain things supposed to be done by a certain time.
Yep. And
then like you really get older and you like, bro, it's not even supposed to be like that. Cause like if we all was born and we knew exactly how life was supposed to be, then
niggas would be chilling.
Right, be chilling. But nah, like everybody bloom differently. Everybody process through life is different. So really just teaching. But really just expressing like blooming at your own pace through merch. You know what I'm saying? So and spreading purity and self-enlightenment, you know what I mean?
Now I would say obviously I fuck with your merch and I fuck with the idea of it. But how I met you and then to see what you're doing now is like a total crossover. Like you always been a fly nigga and here's a side note. Just cause you're a fly nigga doesn't always mean you can make clothes.
Yeah,
like
be hard, bro.
It'd be hard. So like honestly, truly, like when it comes to that, like why clothes though? Like even though I know that's who you are, but like clothes, like
So like to be honest, like the experience also like coming into clothes was in the mind on the back end, like off the hooping end, like all right, cool. Like when I get pro, bet I'm gonna come back do merch, boom, boom, boom. So like it was always there.
Okay.
But it was kind of like when all right, the pro thing might not happen, I don't know. But I'm not gonna not let all this go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna go into this space. But to be honest, in clothes, bro, it's like. I always thought it was dope. Like any brand, like the 100 Story, all these big brands and all that, like they all come with a story. You know what I'm saying? Like they started small, they did this. So, and then I don't know, bro. Like it's just something when you put your own something like has your shit on it, it just hit different, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you look in the space and like, damn, what could I? Like I could actually, you know, there's times where I done seen a pair of shirt or jeans. I'm like, man, if I just added that right there, that would have been tough. So now that I could do that, it feels like free range, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, definitely.
No, because I think a lot of times, and I've always wanted to ask this, that's why I'm glad, like, I have somebody on here that's, like, in that industry. It's like, you now that you've made clothes, do you be like, I could have made that better? Or, like, I could have done it, like, do you have that arrogance about you a little bit?
Hell yeah. Sometimes where I'm like, damn, like, I wish I just did this one thing, you know what I'm saying? But there's times where it's like, I'm trying to do it now where it's like I get the feedback from people who actually purchased them. Like, so I'm trying to work on that where it's like, all right, if you purchase, like, let me know what you think I could have done better. So that way I can work with what I'm thinking and what you thinking and kind of create something where it's even, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, hell yeah. So many times I'm like, damn, I should have, even colors, like, man, I should have picked that color. Or all right, now I should have, you know, but definitely, hell yeah, I'm always there with it. That's why I'm also at a point where if I'm in group chats, all my group chats, I'll just send them, say, what you think about this color? What you think about this? What you think about this? And like I'll get all their feedbacks too and see if like you know.
So is it a constant everyday thing as far as creativity, or do you just have days where it's just like,
bro, I'm happy you asked me that, bro.
Like, I'm not even going.
Because I thought like when you get in that space, you like go, but hell no. There's this I wake up, I'm like, I don't got it today, bro, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? There's times where like you feel like that, and like your other party like, nah, bro, like what you doing? But you like, nah, bro, it's okay that I don't have it in me today.
No sense.
As long as I go back to it, or I don't take too much time off of it. You know what I'm saying? Because once you take too much time off that shit, like you can't get that momentum back. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, if you think I wake up every day and I know who I want to talk to on Sundays, I don't. Right. Sometimes he would tell you, he'll be like, hey, you want? I'll be like, nah, I don't. He'll be like, why? I'll be like, I just don't. Bro, I just don't want to talk to nobody. Like, and it's not a slight, but it's like. You have to take a moment to pause. And we are in fields where, for lack of a better phrase, it's high stress. Like I know most people don't think that, and I know we make it look real easy. But it's stress because you have your days. And I ask that because I think with clothes outside of podcasts, it's just I'm talking, I'm having a conversation, I'm interviewing you guys, so it's really just getting y'all comfortable with me. But your audience, you have to like. They kind of like feed you, like they pay your bills. So it's like you could come up with something and it just not work. And like you gotta scrap the whole thing.
The whole thing, right?
And it's like how do you deal? Like how long does it take you to put stuff into production versus get that? Like how many ideas have we not seen?
Shit. I mean, to be honest, like there's things where I done made. There's like certain colorways I made samples of. Like, all right, cool. Let me see this sample where I had like certain people wear it. If they asking enough about that shirt he got on, I'm gonna make that colorway. You know what I'm saying? Or like if I had this colorway and I see how with the reaction I get, or if I get a lot of feedback on it or a lot of reaction with it, all right, bet I'm gonna go get that colorway too. But what I try to do really is like I'm trying to target now where it's like people who have platforms like y'all, and y'all have merch. Someone who like performing next week, try to get them a tee if I can. So I've been on that way where it's like I'll give them the colorways that like people don't see like that. So they say, oh, I bet you, let me get that one right there. Yo, they got more of that colorway? Or yo, you got more of that? You know what I'm saying? So
listen, I don't have no
really
problem. I'll be a walking billboard. It's cold sometimes. I've come to the point where I would rather buy and invest in like the people that I know versus like other people. Like it's crazy, and I'm pretty sure you know it because me, I don't follow no celebrities like on social media. Like I literally follow y'all, or like I follow people in my field, and I'm more inclined to buy something from a small business than I am like the big ones at this point. Because I'm not even gonna hold you. The smaller brand stuff be a lot better, and the quality be a lot better. Like, and I know most people like you pay $50 and you don't need, but it's worth it. It's really like that. Like a Booth brand, it's his hats. They fit a lot differently than Nike sometimes. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. Like it fit right. You know what I'm saying? And I know where it's at, and I feel good because like I'm supporting my bro dream. But other people, it's like, and I bring that up because in your field, like. How do you really know like what support looks like versus like, oh, I just did it just because?
Shit, I mean, I don't know. It's to be honest, like I've been getting a lot of like family and friend support, and I love that. Like that shit means so much, bro. Like everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. Whenever I find myself in those spaces where I gotta just like think about it, I'd be like, nah, bro. Like don't even worry about it. If they placed the order, they did. If they did, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Or was this off this? It don't matter. Like if it's helped the growth of the brand, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like what I'm realizing too, like it ain't. We want it to be just us. But you gotta have a team. You gotta have like real strong support system. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's been where I'm at. Right? Like when I find don't get me wrong, I be in a space like shit. Was that such trying to support me? But then I be like, I ain't gonna get too caught in that. But like, right?
I see you hit a little different. You be like, I see you. How do you mean that? Like, do you just mean it like? Nah, I get it because, and I tell E all the time, like, it's different for me because a lot of the people, I think a lot of people don't know this. Outside of maybe, I would give you 3 interviews that I've done. I've known all of y'all. So my biggest thing is like, when y'all ask me, I want to be on it. It's like, all right. They see it. They get it. Because a lot of times it's like people could come over here and just be like, oh, I just want to get on for selfish reasons, right? Or whatever. But it's like y'all see it. And so for me, it's like I want to make it as comfortable as possible for y'all as you would when it comes to the clothes and stuff. It's like I appreciate y'all feedback. I appreciate it. Because for me, it's a little different. Like I don't have nothing to sell. I'm just hoping someone listens or someone will watch. You know what I'm saying? And that's a different game. Like that's the part of it. But it's amazing. And that's why I say like I always appreciate that y'all come through. But it's 2 things I want to ask you. First and foremost, because you know we're going to get into Fashion Week, because I seen that you did that. We're going to get into that. But you did a back to school drive, like maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Like 2 weeks ago.
So in that, it was obviously successful. You know what I'm saying? That's needed always and thoroughly. But when you did yours, like how did it come about? You know, what was the things that went into it and just overall, your overall feeling of it once you finally got it done?
Yeah, so basically, it all started as an idea, of course. Top of the year, I was like, man, what can I do? Because, again, it's back to what kind of void can I fill, right? And I remember growing up, we had community days.
All of that. Field day, community days.
And it's like, damn, I don't see none of that. Then the pandemic hit. I'm like, all right, so at top of the year, that was like the idea, like, all right, like, what can I do? So then I reeled in Imprint LLC with Jasmine and Chef Flavio, you know, and I was like, you know, I kind of talked to them about it, and they was like, yeah, like, let's do it. So we ended up meeting again later on, like probably like May, June, and really just like, all right, let's start getting into play. And that's when it really started happening. It really just, it was a team effort, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like it take a group of people, and that's ideas they all had as well. We was like, all right, but let's put it all together. But it was beautiful, bro. Beautiful turnout. And yeah, it was a space of just filling the void, bro, and just giving back to the kids. Cause you know a lot of people wait till you get to a certain part. Like, they wait till you get to the top. All right, bet now I'm gonna go ahead and give back. Like we can get back right now. You know what I'm saying? Right at this moment we can. You know what I'm saying? So that was really the goal.
And especially for where you did it at, like
for sure.
I know a lot of people be like, it's not as bad because it's not what we was. Yeah. But if you think about it, like, no, I'm not rolling with that entirely. Like I'm not, and it's like it's like White Oak. That's like a perfect example of like giving some kids to do something, like getting them outside, like that area alone. So that's what really what it was for me. I was like, he low key picked one of the most. You know, give or take, it could go left real quick, and you had a successful event. I mean, so that's why I was just like, yeah, like bro did that, and I seen it, and that was a good thing. And y'all had that, I'm assuming, in the back of the joint, right?
Yeah. So if you go to White Oak New School, it's like that big black top.
Yeah.
Black top, so literally like right by the black top.
Okay, so yeah. No, but that's what's up. So, like I said, we got to get into the Fashion Week jump. So, I'm big on that. Like, I watched the Met Gala, I watched New York Fashion Week, like I do all that. But to see somebody that I know a part of that jump, like, how did that come about? Like, what was it like?
So my bro who's actually on the team with me, Keith, right? He actually got. There was a designer. So basically, designers, they get the models. They they set everything up. So they had him as one of the models on there. So he got booked for that, and like immediately, the Harlem Fashion Week was looking for like sponsors. He's like, yo. They looking for sponsors, bro. I'm like, oh, bet I jumped on it.
Say less, I'm on it.
Send email, boom, boom. We exchanged info. We got a quick brief call, like, all right, how many items you trying to brand? What you trying to do? I'm like, all right, bet. So I went up there the day before, bro. So all that, you kind of like, all right, it might happen, it's happening, but you still like, all right.
You still a little leery. It's like, I'm here, but am I here?
So I'm like, am I really? So I get to I literally popped the trunk, got all my stuff with me, right? So I walked towards like where they told me to drop the items at, bro. They got the whole billboard with all the sponsors on it. I just see the brand. I'm like, oh, I had to walk back like, hey, yo, what? Hey, I'm like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I had LateBloomer went back over there, like, introduce everybody, so. But it was cool, bro. It was a beautiful experience, bro. Like, and then Dapper Dan came out there, and it's funny because like
that was it. That's when I knew. I was
bro,
like,
dude, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not even gonna say it a lie. When I seen him, I was like, he looked like somebody important, right? My mind couldn't. I'm still in the moment. I'm like, yo, like. So then later on, I go sit down. My girl like, yo, that's that. I was like, oh, that's that. I was like, oh.
Listen,
but
being from New York and like it's. Each borough got like two people like you gotta always know. Harlem.
For real, I was born here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for me, like me being from Harlem, Dapper Dan was like my aunts, my uncles, like you grew up in that. So when I seen it, I was like, we're both really in the same space. And it's not even like, I think I need to get people to understand it. Like that's a staple. Like that means something to other people. Like that still means to people in the area. That's like the founder of. When it came to high luxury fashion, where I'm from, so
in the world,
but like specifically, like he made it. Like I'm not even gonna try. There's only two groups of people you need to know: it's Dapper Dan and Supreme in them. Y'all know why y'all know Supreme, so I don't have to say that. But the Dapper, like that's the other person. And so when you see that, it's like, yo, like for Boo, I'm like, I'm proud of that because whether he know it or not, he don't know. Just because they see the brand, they see the name, and it's because he came to that, it's like, yo, talk to me about that. Or, I seen you was with such and such. Let me holler at you. Like, that's a big up, whether you know it or not. So,
Until I was there, bro, my bad to cut you off.
No, you good.
When I was there, I was like, I was fucking with it because I'm like, damn, this is a chance for any designer, any brand where y'all all on an equal platform. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is tough. So, I'm in there, of course, like, it's a first time experience, so I'm in there also really... okay, but that's how they, alright, they do this. So it was beautiful though, bro. But that shit, and then that's funny because when I left there, I sat down and really thought about it and had a conversation. I'm like, damn, you right. Like when it comes to fashion, West Coast is LA, and East Coast is New York. You know what I'm saying? So like that shit was amazing, bro.
But like I said, when I seen it, I was like, yeah, bro, doing it. So from that, what did you learn? Like as far as in those spaces, like what did you? Because that's the one thing I think people never ask you. It's like you kind of get in the moment where it's like I'm working, but it's like what did you learn from that experience to take with you, like to bring back here and also be able to do stuff?
I mean, that is first off, that's right there. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you'll be at home trying to plot it out, but then when it's right in front of you, it's like, nah, it's right here if you really want it. You know what I'm saying? So I learned that for sure. I definitely learned like being prepared all the time. You know what I'm saying? There was times I was there where like I had my business cards in the car. I'm like, I should have kept. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's something you should always know. You should have your business cards on you, so because you don't never know. And definitely merch too, because. When I seen that, but I was like, bro, I wish I had like at least 2 tees right here in my bag. Mine, then just gave them to him. You know what I'm saying? So a little something like that. It really just like, just saying that like the support gonna be there as long as like you give 100%. You know what I'm saying? And like that's what I love to see. Like all the designs was getting support. All the design, like they had even had the vendors in the back selling and all that. So, but definitely, bro, like just learning that it's right there. You know what I'm saying? If you stick to that, if you really stick, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? So.
And that's a good thing, because I think a lot of times, you know, you measure success on, I wouldn't call it superficial, but like what you see others do.
Right.
And so for me, it's a little different because I know there are other people in this field, but I'm like the only one that like I see it here. So I have a different measure of success. Like my measure of success is like when y'all want to be on here, like when y'all want to come sit down and chop it up with me and the bro. You know what I'm saying? But yours is like, I'm in this space. Like, I'm in New York, first and foremost. And then I got one of the most influential people. And he's there, he's touchable. Like, that's why I said for people, it's not like a... And that's the one thing I want people to understand. Like, when you're in these type of fields, like, they're humans too. And you kind of really want to talk to them. Like, you don't even want to really be a fan. You kind of really want to be like, hey, bro, like,
what you think about,
help. Like, help me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think? And I know that's a weird concept because people will be like, you're not about that. Nah, I am. I promise you. Listen, I tell you all the time, let somebody from one of these Spotify, Apple, whatever, come and hear my stuff. I'll be like, no, help me. Like, give me pointers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or even the media outlets, like, you know, because that's the only way I'm going to know how to do better. That's the only way I'm going to learn how to make it work. Because it's like, if I just sit here and I be like, nah, I'm good. Oh, man, opportunity passed me by. I'd be mad as hell. Nah, so like I said, I'm always happy that you did it, and that's what
I do that shit for us too.
Yeah,
you know, most importantly, but everything with the hoops and the clothing, like I do it for everybody I grew up in and represented, because we all represent each other, no matter what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. There's people who like they don't think on that end, but that's how I usually be, bro. It's like, bro, everything I do is for everybody, bro.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit really, but nah, definitely, bro. Like I had to come on.
No,
you know,
I
gotta come on.
Nah, he hit me. I was like, oh yeah, bro, about to be good. Cause I always wanted to talk to you about the hooping. Like, we talked about it a little bit off air and all that, how it was in high school. Like, probably being one of the most talented people in the jump and never made it on the team. But you still played after that. Like, you still played at that next level. What did that like fuel you more, or like honestly, what would it was? Cause background, like. Babu was nasty, like, but he was the one person in high school, like, he just never made the basketball team, and it was like, I know people would be like, you hear that, and they'd be like, nah, no, like, that was a running topic, like, I want people to really understand and hear that, like, he was a hooper, but just never did it, and then he goes, graduates, and then he plays at the next level, so now you'd be like, what the hell? What's the problem? Like, what was it? So I've always wanted to ask you, like, what was it like after that? Like, being told no all those years, and then you get to the next level, and it's like, nah, I'm doing it. Like, I'm here. Like, nah, you messed up.
And to be honest, bro, like, when I ain't making it in high school, I was like, you know, you sit down, you think, like, all right, you know, maybe I was tripping. So you just kind of, like, go back to playing rap with rules, so then those same people are in that space who on those things. You like, nah, something going on here, you know what I'm saying? So, of course, you start learning the politics of the game, but, you know, when I got cut, the only year I tried out was temporary year. I kind of just, like, you know, you go in a space when you just like, bro, what the? Because then you put all this time into it. That's all you do. That's all you watch. That's all. If you're not playing, then you playing the game.
Like it's everything is a learning experience. Like you still here. Like
you wake up, all the posters is right there.
Like what?
So
you cut the TV on ESPN. It's right there. March Madness is right there. Like yeah.
Bro, what? So like, I'm like, all right. So then I was gonna try out my senior year, but then I literally had one class that didn't give me the grade to try out. That was it. I'm like, well, all right, bro. So
that shit is a scam.
I'm like, bro, that one grade and that teacher know you need it, but you know what I'm saying? Grade.
I bet you it was either math or language, wasn't it?
No, it was like a little science jump.
Oh my god! Oh, I hate that. I always get somebody that can't speak English to teach the hardest course. God, I hate that. Like, come on, bro. What word did you just say?
Nah, so after that, bro, I graduated late, bro, and I'm literally working sales in White Oak. And I'm literally catching the bus 9 a.m. I'm like, bro, I went to school 12 years. And I'm at Sears in White Oak.
Say it again. Like, say I don't.
Bro, listen. I was like, bro, there's no way, because it was no point in me going to school if I was going to be, you know,
if that was where I was going to end up at, I could have just started a lot earlier. Like,
you know, no offense to anybody that do work there, but it was just like, damn, bro, like I had bigger visions than this. So I was in that joint, bro, really was like, bro, I don't know how, but I'm about to go to college and play something with it. And I was at the time I was at MC, and that was a year right before they brought all the campuses to one basketball team.
Yo.
So that was like, bro, I'm not about to go try out against 150.
It was like, it was like high school all over again. And no, it was. I remember because
they had a team for every campus.
They brought and then it was like it was crazy. I talked to a boo and I was like, bro, like you gonna make that jump? And literally 2 weeks later. I see that John. It was like, yeah, we only doing one basketball team. I said, Lord Jesus.
Damn right.
I texted. I was like, I don't know, bro. But it looked like it's history repeating itself, bro. Because that's unheard of. Like 150.
Bro, there's a lot of people trying out for that. Don't get me wrong. I never even went to one to see how many it was. I was like, bro, that's.
But it was a lot. I'm gonna tell you, it was a lot.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's the next option. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up looking at a JUCO in Maine. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, Maine is not a basketball state. You know, to my preference. I'm like, I've never been there, but like,
it's not someplace that somebody's gonna want to go.
Yeah, want to go there. So I'm like, I gotta go where like people don't go. You know what I'm saying? So nobody going.
He's right.
You know what I'm saying? I talked to my bro Don, who had a homie who was playing at the time. He's like, bro, I can holler at you. You talk to the coach right now. I'm like, bet. At that point, I never had a chance to talk to any coach. I'm emailing them all summer. Like, I'm getting certain emails back, but once I say I ain't playing high school, that's it. You know what I'm saying? We not continuing to conference. And it makes sense now that I think about it. Like, all right, like, you know, I do need that high school experience. So I ended up talking to the coach. I ended up just going out there, bro. My first, no, I'm not lying, bro. I can call someone right, but my first like day or two, I slept on the towel.
Oh wow.
No, like I was just trying to be there, bro. I'm like, bro. Class at 9 a.m. Say less.
That's real shit though.
It's like that's a sacrifice you get. And I went with like a duffel full of clothes. I was supposed to have clothes sent over. You know, later. I never did, but that's another story. So anyway, so I go meet the coaches. He's like, yeah, bro, you got to try out. Well, tryouts is on this day, but like Mondays and Wednesdays, you gotta come out for workouts. I'm like, bet. And if you want to make the team, you gotta come to these workouts. I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm at the workouts. Bro, I ended up getting cut at that one too.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? That JUCO. So I'm really like, bro, that's twice. I just put all eggs in them. And this one was even more of a sacrifice. I'm all the way out here. I don't know nobody.
Not to cut you off, but like, you was the only person that like I knew that went that far. Like, I think it was you and Bevan. Bevan went to LA to play football. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then I was like, this nigga a boo in Maine? I was like, what the hell is in Maine? I was like, how do you even... I'm not even being funny. I really was like, how do you get out there? Like, is there an airport? Like, did he drive? Like, those are the questions I'm asking. And it's not even to be off no ignorant shit. It's just like, when you think about it, it's like, how did you make it out, Maine? And even my personal experience, like, I went to West Virginia to play football. Granted, I think the one thing people only know about West Virginia is wild-ass white boys and the Mountaineers. So when I go there, it was different. And it was like the same situation. It was the first year the school ever had football. And they was like, yeah.
That was the first year they had football?
It was the first year they ever had football. But it was literally like, all right. So like, I get, so crazy. This is how I'm going to tell you how wild shit is. So the coach comes, right? He comes to all our games senior year. And I remember at the time, like, everybody was kind of getting letters, or at least, like, no one really got solid offers, but everybody got, hey, I'm looking at you. So there's one particular coach, it was their offensive coach. He was going to be, it was a wide receiver coach, he was going to be their offensive coach. he had talked to me, Elijah, Thomas, all of them. He's like, yeah, come out and I got y'all. We go out there. He's the reason all of us signed. Top to bottom, he's the reason. And I always would take Coach Henderson for that. Like, he's the reason I signed. A week before we go, he calls us and he was like, I'm not going to be there and I'm not going to be able to take y'all with me.
A week before y'all went?
A week before we moved in. He's like, I'm not going to be there. They were the defensive coach, hard military motherfucker. Like so strict. Like, he was... Because we had the letter and we wanted to play. So he calls us, he was like, and the kill was, he was like, he went to the JUCO that Bevan went to. And he couldn't take us with us. Like, normally when coaches do that, they'd be like, I can talk, y'all come
not
with me.
Not a week, though.
Not a week. It was a week before he couldn't do nothing because he didn't even know. That's why he called us. He was like, bro, I literally just found out now and it's a Monday. Like, my peoples know, like, my peoples is already planning to come to the Navy game. Like, they're ready. And he calls us Monday and I'm just like, so I go. And like a boo shit with the MC shit, like it's their first year, so you have kids from like all over out there, and they just want to play ball. I'm talking about dudes that look like they in their 30s to kids that look like they still need to be in high school. Like, that's how it is, and everybody's learning the system, everybody's doing it, and it's to the point where that was my first thing when I realized it didn't matter how talented you were, they were literally only going to pick the players that fit their system. I'm talking about their left guard could be the most unathletic motherfucker ever, but if he could do whatever the coach needed him to do for that play, he's gonna start. And you got to think about it's a revolving door.
Right, it is.
It's whoever started game week 1 probably didn't play week 4. Like every week I lie to you not. Every week it started over. It's like, all right, they played week 1. All right, cool. Week 2, start right back over. Everybody fighting for a jersey to play.
That's crazy.
That's what it was.
How do they even do that? That's
fool. Because it was their first year, and you had so many people. So, and that's when I learned that politics stuff. Like, they didn't have to. You don't cut nobody. Like, they didn't cut anybody. They just expected you to quit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, he said it. He was like, "We're not gonna cut none of y'all, but I know half y'all not gonna make it." You know what I'm saying? And for me, it was different. The only reason I left was because it was the Navy game, and my folks were supposed to come see me, and they couldn't because he didn't want people on the bus. And he didn't want people on the bus because, I mean, y'all know me. I'm a little, I'm not arrogant, but like, you're not gonna just be able to tell me whatever y'all think. And that's what it was. Like, you're just not gonna talk to me like I'm your child. Like, no, we're not doing that. And that's what it was. I was like, okay, cool. Bet. And when I asked you, don't lie to me. Like you said, and it was crazy. He lied to me. He was like, yeah, such and such was bad. I was like, he missed practice 2 days this week. Don't know. That's not the reason why. But it's okay, cool. So luckily, I was still able to play ball elsewhere. But like, in that's when I was like, I get where Abu was coming from. Like, Abu was probably one of the main people where I was like, he's still trying, so I can't give up. You know what I'm saying? This nigga went to Maine to hoop. I just went 3 hours down the road. Like, I still gotta, make shit shake. But yeah, that's what it was for me.
How often was you able to come home? Like, when you
So I don't know if it works the same way in basketball, but for us, school season starts September, right? But football season damn near starts end of July, top of August. So we were there at the top of August. And this is the one thing I learned. What you think DMV weather is different? West Virginia weather is different. I lie to you not. This was our first week of weather. Mine just the top of August. Rain, 90 degree, hail.
Especially where y'all at too. That's why y'all get everything.
Like rain, summer, 90 degree on Friday, which is a walkthrough. Hail. And guess what he said? We still going out there. I said, it's hailing. He's like, nah, it makes y'all better. Who's playing in hail? Like I get it. I know with football, you're bred tough, you're doing all this stuff, but there are some weather elements you're not playing in. Hail is at the top of that list. I don't care what you say. Snow is different. Even in rain, as long as it's not lightning, you can play. But hail?
That is wrong.
Like, I don't make, like, and people hear these stories, they're like, bro, you made it up. I promise you I don't. But like, so that was August, and that was all through August. And mind you, another thing is your original question was how long did we come home? I didn't come home the first time, like, honestly, was Thanksgiving break. And I came home to Owan passing. So I'm on the bus, like, the day before, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? We about to go up. And as I'm on the bus coming home, my best friend Jelania calls me, and she tells me, like, the situation that happened with him. So, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was depressed. Like, it was already hard being out there because no one, you don't know nobody. Like, it's really just your homeboys. Like, granted, I had the niggas I played high school with, but that's not always enough. You know what I'm saying? And that was like my first. So it was hard for me my first year because dealing with a lot of that stuff, and it was like I didn't come home as often. Like the next time I came home was spring break. I didn't even really get to come home for Christmas as long as I wanted because you still gotta come back and do workouts and stuff like that.
Exactly, because I remember being like 8-9 hours away. I'm like, damn man, like everybody that go to school nearby, they could just go home every weekend.
Like that's a real thing.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, everybody just go home every week, but it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like my folks wasn't gonna come get me, but that's a 4-hour drive, and it's just my mom. My father not gonna come drive and get me. My father found every reason not to drive. Like he'd be like, "Yo, I give you some money to get to the bus." You know what I'm saying? And this is not, and this is 2012, so Uber and Lyft do not exist. Like y'all figured, like, oh no, it was, and where we were at, like it was an hour to get to Morgantown, which is in WVU. So.
That's where the buses and everything.
Yes, so I still gotta find a ride just to get to the bus, bro.
Damn.
And I will never forget when I really figured that the school wasn't for me. I don't know if y'all remember in 2012, y'all had like a real bad thunderstorm, snowstorm, right? So we got what y'all got, and we got Pittsburgh had a really bad snowstorm. So it shut the power down in the school for about a week.
You remember
that? Because I remember you talking. Yeah, I remember that. And so that was my first time when I realized like if the world went left, it would literally be every man from people from the town were coming up to our dorms because everybody had like senior suites, their own crib, and like was shaking like doors to see who was locked and see who was in, and was taking stuff out of it. Like mainly food and all that stuff. Like it was like, I'm not even gonna say it was ghetto. It was like jail. Like it was just a different experience. Yeah, so it made me. But when I came home like that year, like it made me appreciate like everything. It made me appreciate like just relationships. Like I would tell people all the time, like even though it like I say this, and I'm like that's been over like what 6-7 years now. I still appreciate that shit because it allowed me to really like. Figure out like it can't get no worse than that. Like it honestly, truly, like bro, like it can't get no worse than that. Like I like Abujon when he was like I slept on a blanket, bro. I slept in a cold ass room for like 4 days, bro. Like no heat, no nothing. Like barely charging my phone. Like it don't get no worse than that, bro. And when you think about it like that, it's like that's why you always have to be like, bro, why you just? Because it's like. I can't go back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what that look like. I'm not going back to that. Like, I'm not even going to put myself in that situation. So, again, like, we say these stories because it's like, that's what it takes when you want to do your dream. Like, that's what it takes when you want to just make it. Like, some of that stuff ain't fulfilling. So, I know ESPN, they do them little stories, and y'all be thinking, oh, that shit be real. That shit is real. Like, I met, in crazy part, before we put a cap on it, there's only one person from that whole group that ever got to play on an NFL team, and that was Sherm. He played for the Rams, and he was on their practice squad. He's the only person to do that. Out of like 400 of us, he was the only one the year that I was there that was able to get a look from the NFL. So think about that. Yeah, like he was the only one, bro.
Yeah, and you be thinking like the sacrifices, like all right, bet it's gonna get me. You know what I'm saying? Not all the time.
Not all the time, bro. Do it work? Not all the time is it like that. It isn't at all. But
it's definitely lessons you take in those moments. You like that. Yeah. Like you come back home, any real life situation hit you think of those times like nah, bro.
I came back home and like my mindset was like. Nah, I'm not even, like, school was different. Like, I actually paid, I never cared for school. But after that, I was like, yeah, ball not gonna get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, and the crazy part is no one tells you that. All three of us play high school sports. Not one person ever really told us to stay in the classroom. Now, think about it. Not one person, what they tell you, as long as you get 2.0. It's really not that hard to get a 2.0. You can show up and get a 2.0. You write your name on a couple tests, answer about 4 questions out of 8. That's a 2.0 right there. They don't tell you that stuff. But then when you get to college, Abuno, boy, you be like, yeah, I got a game today, so.
Yeah, they don't care about nothing.
Fuck about the game.
Like, you got games when it be times where like you got a class during the game.
What?
You like, bro, you gotta hit the professor, hey, look, can you please just send me the work over? I gotta go to this game. We got a game at 7. The class at 6. I'll see you there. I'm like, yo, I just told you I got a game, bro.
I had workouts at like 8 a.m. We had workouts twice a day. It was like 8 a.m. and it was like 7:30. I didn't have a morning class, but I had a night class. Ask me how many times I went to that night class. Not even because I didn't want to, but because it was like Abu said, like, you miss a workout, you're not playing. So you got to be like, all right, not play or get a D.
And nobody.
I'm going to work out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it is. That's really what it is. And it's crazy. It's not fun at all. Like,
you really do think about it.
Like, thank God we found other stuff to do, bro.
Thank God, bro, because you sit there and think, like, I got to debate whether between class or this game. Like, and it's wild because, like, you would think, like, the schools, they would have it set up where the situation like that doesn't happen. But I don't know. Whoever it is.
I don't know if the teachers be pissed off at the coaches or the coaches be pissed off at the teachers. But that's two sides of the coin that do not speak to each other at all. They be like, I remember my coach told her, man, look, I got you if you don't go to class. I've never heard that before. Never in my life heard that before.
Bro, I got you. Like, what does that mean?
So what does that mean? Like you said, like, I see you. What did he mean by that? Like, what did he mean? Like, what is? Nah, that was different. But because you are hoops, I want to know, like, honestly now, because at this point, like, do you even still like have that same passion for it? Because I know for me, like, sometimes because I played it, and Emmanuel know because he played it too, like, you watch sports differently now.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, and now I just be at football, I'd be like, man, look. Man.
That's right.
Man, I know it's 1 o'clock when we get out of here. I'm going to go work out. I'm not even going to go turn the TV on. And I think that's the difference for us as people, like, when you go through certain stuff and you play the game, like, you always have a competitive about you, and you just take it with you. Like, for Blue, it was basketball. So it was like, now that I'm enclosed, I'm going to be real competitive with that. With me, it was football, and you got to communicate. You know, it's just you and them other 10 people on that field. And somebody miss something, it's really like a touchdown or injury. Like, that's the real thin line of it. And for me, like, that's why I said it's not hard for me to talk to y'all. But it's like, if I would have known I could put that same passion into from the beginning, I wouldn't have been mad if I never picked up a football. I'm not even gonna lie to you. As much as I love it, I would have never been mad because it's like this will take me further than
and that's what my mind is. That's what my mind is. It's like, cause you think about it, bro. Like, we've been taught the entertainment shit, right? And then we like, all right, entertainment, right? We don't never talk about the niggas who own the NBA teams, who own these teams at OCs, whoever people want to play for. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get to those conversations. Which entertainment, where as far as like we talking to people who run the shit. So I'm thinking like, all right, like you said, there's more longevity in this than like if I was to play this sport. You know what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong. There's days I wake up after a workout, I want to go hoop. All right, bet I go hoop. I run 10s. So the passion's still there. I still love the game. Yeah. I watch the game. My little brother coming up, he in high school, so I'm like, I still got to be on it for him. You know what I'm saying? So. But mainly, really, to be honest, bro, if I want to go play, I just go run a couple pickup games. But as far as me wanting to really, cause it's like, bro, ownership is everything. Ain't nothing being that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
and that's the biggest thing. That's why I'm like platforms like me, EGOT, and yours. It's like we own that, whether we know it or not. We own that, right. And that's the one thing no one ever taught us.
Like, never taught us that. You
like,
know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that was a thing. Like, honestly, until I met up with E, like everything, he taught me that. Like,
and that's powerful too, bro. Our brothers coming together, being able. I love that because that's even hard.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I appreciate y'all how y'all get past it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
playing well with others in this field. Oh my God.
But it's like y'all got the same vision where y'all trying to do those, so that helps. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mess up, y'all realize that look, this the goal, so it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Like, there's the three, like, ownership, communication, and just like one thing is learn is patience. Patience is really a virtue. Like, you really learn how to work well with others. Like, I know sports teaches us that, but it's at a different level. Like, even in sports, like, you learn how to work within the system. With this, it's like, I can't, like, for example, if he's not here to do his part, it means now I got to do both. So it's like one job make the other easier. But you don't know that because in sports, if he not here, next man up. There is no next man up. Like, that's it for me. Like, I'm pretty sure you know that with yours. Like, with your team, like, if a boo not there, it's like, it's a pause on everything. And you got to understand that. And that's why back to piggyback when you said, like, those breaks, you need it. Like, it's so needed to take those breaks. Like, when he said, bro, I need to take a week, I couldn't be mad at him. Because I understand that. Like, he needed that.
And that's that you can still, like, say if, like, you need to do, like, what his role is, you could do that for that specific time. You know
I cussed him out. I cussed him out. But I gotta let him. I let him get his break. But I said, don't ever do that shit again. I don't know how to do this, man. Come on, shit. But that's my bro, and I appreciate him that because I still know, all jokes aside, like, it was still, I knew he needed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be upset, I could be mad, but that doesn't solve nothing. And it strengthened
even him saying, all right, like, I need it. And
to him to come to me, because you know, most people just, I'm not showing up. I'm just not, and they expect you to know. You'd be like, bro, you could have, and what you said, you could have just told me. And what they do? And you'd be like, no, sis, you could have just told me. Like, I'm not a dictator. Like, no, so that's really what it is for me. Like, this space. And that's why I said with you, with clothing, I can only just imagine what that day to day is like.
But I'm trying to get to a point where it's like everything's not on me. You know what I'm saying? So, and of course, trying to figure that out. Where it's like, all right, how do I do this? So that means I gotta take time teaching. You know, so I don't mind, but it's like they gotta be all in too. You know what I'm saying? So.
And I was gonna say your biggest thing is going to be teaching someone and then like being able to let go.
Yeah. Like once you learn it, it's kind of like
that let go part.
That let go part. Oh my god.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. Like, bro. I think, like, luckily, I don't have to do that. But what I want to do is, like, I want a media company. Like, I want to be able where people can come and do everything here. So my biggest thing is when I get to that point, it's going to be like, here's the keys to the building. And it's like, I know it run. And it's like, I got to just be like, all right.
Chill, right.
It's like, because you want to say, I wouldn't have done it that way. Yeah, but then when you're really in it, and that's the one thing I've learned, it's like, just because you wouldn't have done it that way doesn't mean that person's wrong.
Right.
It doesn't, and that's the real hardest part. It's like, right and wrong. I know we preach that, but it's like on some subjects, not all, because some of that shit is flat out wrong. But on a lot of stuff, it'd be like, I get it. You just didn't see it the way I saw it, and that's But good luck. But when you get there, you can help me out because
the let go part. That's facts. Because I didn't sat back and thought like, damn. If I show someone how to do this, can I just cool it and like let them do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can, you know. It's more strength than you.
It is.
That's not easy, bro.
It's not. But you need that because you don't want to burn yourself out.
Facts.
That's like, you don't want to just keep doing everything. Because then you'll get to the point where you'll get resentment. Yeah. And you'll be like, why do I even have y'all here? Like, y'all don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real thing. Like, you'll get to the point where you just be like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to just do it by myself. And that's the one thing I can tell people, like, listen to this and y'all come talk to us. Is like, we make it look easy, but everybody has a part. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I know we haven't had a pod, an interview, I don't think since Tay-Day, but like, for y'all to come out to that was one of the things, like me, E, shout out to Koos, like, we talked about it. We sat down in Buffalo Wild Wings and we was like, bro, like, it has to go right, because while we're doing it, like, that's somebody very important to a lot of different people. And we was like, whether it stresses us out or not, we wanted to at least make sure y'all did it. Y'all had a good time. So when y'all came out, that was kind of like the biggest thing. Was like, oh, okay, they respect it.
Like, I love that shit. I seen that shit. I'm like, I'm gone, bro. I remember I left work. Like, my shift ended at 11. I left at 8. I'm like, hey, no, babe, after break, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go, bro. You know what I'm saying? And once I got there, I had to find you. I'm like, bro. What church is that? Where E at, bro? Where Chris at? I'm like, what? Because it was so beautiful, bro. Like, it turned out.
And now just to be in the opportunity to, like, do it again.
Right.
The stuff we got planned in October for y'all. Like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, like, but that's what I mean. But when I say, like, each of us have our role. Like, we all work well together. You know what I'm saying? Like, E brings his own set of skills. I do mine. Koos do his. And it's like, we don't. Amazing. But the one thing I can say is I bring that up because Koos lets us do that. Like, he don't like, like, sometimes he do, but like, other times it's like you said, like, I taught y'all, go ahead. They let y'all, and that's why it works so well, because I think when you get that type of trust, like, it works, it flows a lot easier. So that's why I bring it up, because it can be done. You just gotta really, like, you gotta pick the right people first and foremost. Like, you gotta pick the right people first and foremost, and then from there, it's like, you just gotta know that they want it as much as you want it, or they see the benefit in what you wanted. And I'm not talking monetary. I'm talking like real live benefit, like memories, like moments, like stuff like, because that's the one thing the pandemic has taught me, like, I, like you said, work. I still work, but damn it if I don't wake up every day and be like, I don't give a damn about this job. But like, if E call me, he'd be like, hey bro, I need your help with this show I'm about to do. I'm there. I will take off work to go, and I don't get paid for what he does. But I know, like we talked about off air, it's like, I'm outside. Somebody gonna notice me. Somebody gonna recognize it, and they're gonna be like, yo, he always there. Like, that's the benefit in it, and that's the one thing that I always gauge people on. It's like, do you understand it? Because let's be honest. I don't know when you start seeing like real money from it, but you know what it looked like when it did it.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
And so when you saw that first one, you was like, but if I wasn't here, if I wasn't there, if I didn't put that shirt on somebody, I wouldn't have got this. For me, it's if I wouldn't have been at his event, if I wouldn't have just helped, whether it be at the door with the tickets or helping with the setup or just being there just to lighten the mood, whatever. You don't know that. You don't know who's watching. So exactly.
And you learn that in sports too, for real. Like, all right, like you never know who understands. Yeah. And they come there. All this, everything else, even this episode, you don't know who gonna watch this show. You know what I'm saying? Like everything has an important role, and that's like longevity, bro. Like if we all focus on the profits right now, ain't shit gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? We focus on that, ain't nothing. But if we keep in longevity, we good. You know what I'm saying? So and that's what everybody on. That's why I love to see it, bro. Especially us as like black men, bro. We need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause there's so many potholes you had to dodge before you even knew it type of shit. Like, bro, you get on like, hey, bro, I just thought that over there.
No, like, bro, you think about it, you just be like, yo, I just got out of the house just to simply get through this, and it's like for me, this is like therapy. Like
telling you, bro.
Like just to come talk and kick it, it's therapy. Bro, like for this hour and a half or less than that, when I'm just here, I just be talking and I just be like, I feel better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Good, right. Because any and that's not to knock whatever outlets I have, but it's not the same.
It's different.
Like talking to the bro, talking to my mans, like it's y'all. Like and it's crazy, I've never told that part of my football journey to nobody. Like, because for me it was like, I didn't know it was that bad until he said it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even to make light of it. But when you think of it, you be like, I'm not about to tell niggas I had to go through that. And then he like, nah, I was on a tower. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah,
because that shit, like, people, you know what I'm saying? You don't really know. Bro, and it's funny because, like, that's why I be cool to share it now. Because, like, niggas think, they don't think that. That's not something you ever think about.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? Even, like, your apartment situation, all that situation. Nobody think of that. Right. You know, all they see was, oh, bro, Tristan playing football. Like, nah.
Yeah. That's Tristan playing football, like, hurt. That's Tristan playing football stress. That's Tristan playing football just had to fight the town mayor and shit. Like, bro, I would never forget that, bro. I came out my dorm room. I watched this nigga jiggle the door. He looked at me, I looked at him, he looked at me, he was like, I locked my door and I just walked. Like, but I'm not thinking that until the next day they're like, yeah, make sure y'all lock their doors. We've had like a couple break-ins. I'm like, but it taught me, like, in those moments, what do you do it for? Do you do it to stay like that, or do you do it to get yourself up out that situation? I could have done so many different things in it. I could have, you know, what the fuck you doing, whatever. But I'm not gonna lie, that self-preservation kicked in and was like, you ain't fucking with my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real shit. But I realized that, you're not touching my, but you know what I'm saying? But now, what if it was reversed? What if I wasn't in my shit, I ain't locked my door? Because in college, you know, you don't really lock your door, bro. Like, you just walk out the door. You're not thinking it. Like, you just be like, I'll be right back. You'll right back be 2 hours later. And you don't check when you get back. You don't do none of that shit. Like, you just walk out the door.
Because nobody coming in there if they don't got a key. So it's like, like,
you be like, the only person you have is your roommate. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And we had suites, so it was each person had their own room. So it's like you gotta go through the suite and then you gotta get to my room. Like, I'm really not tripping. Like, who's gonna do that? Man, shit. Niggas came back, lost TVs, half day food. It was vicious, bro. Like, it was, but I say all that to, like, that's what I do it for. Like, I remember the moments and I be like, nah, I gotta go do it. Like, I gotta get up. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make it happen. But and the one thing before we get about it is, like, that manifestation part of it. Like, waking up every day and getting it done. Like, I know we don't always want to do it, but just something. Like, just something that just promotes it. Something that builds it. Like, even for me, I'll watch interviews. Like, Ia send me an interview, and I'll just watch it. You know what I'm saying? Just to learn how to better talk to people. Like, I don't really, like, I'm not gonna hold you and sound crazy. I don't even play video games no more. Like,
nah, you're not crazy.
But, like, when you think about it, just the statement of that alone, it's like, you had to say that. Like, no, I'm not, like, I have no interest in buying 2K. I have no interest in playing Madden. I just go on YouTube and, like, just watch interviews. Watch how people talk to people. Like, watch the cues, watch the stuff like that. And it's just like, that makes me, you know, understand the situation. Like, you know,
it shows how more locked in you are. You know what I'm saying? Because your free time now, you like, I'm not trying to go play the game. Let me learn more of my craft. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me master this shit. Or like, because then you think you'll think like, and it's funny because when you're watching this shit, you don't realize how much further ahead you think you are. You know what I mean? But that's good that like you still like, I gotta work on this, I gotta work on this. So that shit helps. All the YouTubes, bro, audio books, and then you think about it, we don't have that much access to people that like know how to do it on the top platform. So it's like we got YouTube, we got audio books and podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the crazy part. Like, and I'm pretty sure you had these conversations. Like, we don't really have like we're a major city, but we're not a major city when it counts. If it makes sense, like there's no place for me to go and say I want to learn how to pod, or I want to learn how to interview. Right? Think about it. For E, it's no place for you to be like I want to learn how to throw events. I want to learn like what are the spaces I can use. For you, like I'm gonna ask you a question. Like, how long did it take you to find the right fabric,
bro? So I went to one production, right? And I'm glad you even asked this because people think like that. Like you get in the space, boom, all right, this where you go. This is no, you got a couple fuck ups. Like what? I had there was a shop nearby my mom's house. Dude print tees. I go in there. I'm like, look, I'm trying to get tees. I'm trying to start a brand. I'm going there excited. I'm like, yo. He's like, all right, bet send me everything. I'm like, all right, bet. I sent him everything, right? He printers and stuff. Don't get me wrong, real solid. But the only thing was about it, like I'm concerned. I'm like, bro, is it gonna last after you wash it? You know what I'm saying? Them questions come into play. You know what I mean? I know, and I'm thinking from a consumer standpoint. Like, if I'm buying a tee for like this amount of bread. If I throw it in washing this much, I'm like, bro, hold on, you just, you know. So don't get me wrong.
$40, $30 tee. You be like, probably get one wear off this.
Nah, come on.
Nah, we not doing that.
The first production dude, man. So he had printed my tees up. And I don't know what it was, bro, but like after the first photo shoot, I threw it in the washer and it's like it started peeling off. I'm like, nah, I can't go with this. You know, so I switched that. Then I had a certain, I was using Next Level, the tees. And I'm like, nah, I can't use Next Level. So I ended up the company I work for, they actually like, they basically doing what I'm trying to do. I'm like, yo, what the? So I didn't know it until I got the job though. I'm in there like, bro, like he's doing what I'm trying. He's selling his merch in his coffee shop, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to take that lane too, even like after the merch shit. But so he and that, so I'm like, all right, cool. So I asked him like, yo, so like, what you do? You know, with them, they don't really give you the whole.
They can't, but like, they look at you and like,
so he like, man, I sent it to this guy, and he just do this, and this. I ain't get no locations, nothing.
They get real sick. They in secret locations. I sent it to my mans up there.
Right. I'm like, bro, you gave me no info.
You didn't help me with nothing. You just basically said a situation. Like, you didn't say a name, a street, or nothing. I'm just sending it to my man, kick him a couple.
You know what? I'm gonna look at the tees because I work with it. So I'm like, I'm just look at which, like how y'all go about it. So I look, okay, boom, and I had these few other brands I was looking at. So I'm like, all right, let me try this one. Then I switched to production place. Then they've been doing a good job. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, bet. Then there was a place where like it's not just tees. I could do hats. I could do like sweats and all. I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm gonna stick with this so far. You know what I'm saying? But I'm almost at a point now where it's like, if I'm bringing you more stuff to print up, let's lower the price on, like, you know what I'm saying, production, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to have that convo, like, after the next couple, especially going into the fall, we do the fall drop, I'm like, all right, let's kind of, like, lower this, like, what can we do, you know what I'm saying? Kind of negotiate something better, but, yeah, it's been a couple times, like 2-3 switches, and even with the hats, I had to switch the hat brand I was using.
And that's the name of the game, like, so I bring it up, like I said, like, everything is a process.
Everything,
like,
bro.
Even when we did Tay-Day, this is what we doing in October, like each and every Friday, like, we had to find those places, and then we had to have those meetings, and they had to look at us and say, I don't know, and that's it. And you know what I'm saying? And then it's like when you get it, you be hyped, but then it's like you gotta go to work, you gotta get to work, you gotta make it work because now you got the space. And and Abu will tell you like, as much as it's easy, y'all think it's easy to do clothes. Imagine now just throwing a party. I know y'all think that shit is easy. It's really not. It's not. And I have a better appreciation for every party I've went to. If somebody threw it, I really do.
Right. You get a different perspective.
I realized they did not enjoy none of that.
Perspective.
But it taught me two things. I would probably never throw a house party. I would never, like, not in my house at least. I throw a house, but just not in my house. And even from podcasting, I realized it's different from talking to people. Because it's like, I could talk to you, but then like, I gotta think about in this conversation, what are people gonna take from it? Right. Because we could just have a normal conversation, and then they could just be like, "Ah, I'm cool." They ain't even saying nothing. Right. But then they could hear it and be like, "Okay, they was talking about something. Like they was teaching me some stuff." So it's like those are the appreciations I learned. But again, I learned all that from trial and error. So my biggest goal is, aside from everything that I want for myself, I want it to be where the next couple of youngins coming up under me, they'll be like, "Yo, let me work for you. Let me learn it to make it so much easier for them." Because I ain't had nobody to work for when it came to this. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. Listen, he throw a great event, but ain't nobody teach him how to do that. Besides him just doing trial and error. You make great clothes, but guess what? You just said it, man. I put that thing in the washer, and that was it. That was the last bit with me. Don't nobody taught me how to interview y'all. Like, I hope y'all don't think, like, I'm, like, Abu said it, he was like, no, you do that. And I told him off air, I was like, no one taught me how to do this. I just talk. Like, I just am myself, and it just happens to be, you know, with a mic in my hand and a camera and some lights. But, like, you just gotta want it at the end of the day. So that's the one thing I can say after all this. It's like,
and I love like that. My bad, cut you
you
off.
Good.
Like y'all tapping into everybody just tapping into their genius. That's really all it is. You sat back, whatever. At one point in your life, you sat back and was like, all right, what am I good at? What can I do? What can I affect? Whatever lane I'm trying to do, and then y'all seen it and y'all going. You know what I'm saying? All y'all, you, everybody, bro. Like, you peeping what it is, and y'all on.
Because he called me in the middle of the pandemic. I had him. I was on a previous podcast, and for lack of a better way, that shit did not go well when he was there. Like it didn't. And he calls me like, what was that? Like a month or so later, and he like, hey, bro, I'm reworking the brand, like Peace and Happiness, and I want to bring you in. And it was like, that's my man, that's my bro. But like, it's a different level when it's like, I want to help you. Because he don't have to. Especially after how that first interaction with, he really did not have to help me. Like I'm so, like, oh my, I'm going to tell you about that off camera because I don't want to be disrespectful, but he did not have to help at all. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And he called me, he's like, nah, bro, like, I see what you did specifically. Like, I want, and ever since then, it's like a teaching tool. Like, he's the reason why I'm outside. He's the reason why I got into it. He's the reason why it's like, you know, because at first I'd be like, I'm not doing it. He'd be like, nah, you coming. I'd be like, I don't want to. He'd be like, I don't care what you want. Like, come out, you know what I'm saying? And now it's be to the point where he don't even gotta tell me. I just be like, oh, I'm there. He'd be like, oh shit, you knew? Like, it was like, for his last event, I could have just showed up. Would he have let me in? But I paid regardless because that's my man shit. Like, that's the one thing before we get out of here. That's what I need y'all to understand. I better not catch y'all asking a boo for a discount. I know that's our mans, and I get all of that. Don't do that because we don't ask these other people and we don't ask these other brands for discounts. We buy what we buy. He got a great product. Do not hit that man and be like, let me get no. And I'm so serious because I hate that at this point. Like, you gotta respect what he's doing, and this gotta feed what he's doing. And if y'all keep looking for a handout, he's not gonna be able to keep doing what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that because I'm not selling the pod, but hey, I'm gonna say it for him because he may not be able to say it. Don't do that. Don't do that. But nah. So like I said, all this stuff, it matters. And like again, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you kicking it with me. And listen, man, it's been another episode of Never Hit But Lame podcast. I'm your host, Tristan Tarantino. Make sure you tell them where they can find you at on the socials and all of that.
You can follow the brand at LateBloomer.brand on Instagram. You can follow me at LateBloom.boo on Instagram as well. We also got a YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook pages as well under the same name, LateBloomer.brand. So, you know what I'm saying? Check us out, man. We got a fall drop coming up as well. Make sure y'all stay locked in, man. I appreciate y'all brothers having me come out, man.
Always, man. And listen, come by anytime, man. It don't matter. So, again, been another episode of Never Hit But Lame. Appreciate y'all for listening. And we out, man. Peace.
Never Hit But Lame podcast.